Hey everyone, long time no see. It's been a while since I've been on here, quite a long time actually. A couple things have happened, but I figured I'd get back on here and just show you what I made in January. I'm not gonna go back over the last couple months or 6 months or 7 months or maybe 8. I don't know exactly, but I am gonna show you what I've done in January. I'm gonna try and upload what I do in that month at the end of the month or the beginning of the next month, just to keep everybody in the loop if you want to know. But that's kind of what my plan is for right now. I just like to be able to show what I make and share it with people. What won't probably be happening a lot this year is acquisitions. So we did get married last year. A lot of our money went towards the wedding. We paid cash for our wedding. And then this year, or after the wedding, I realized, how much money I was actually spending on yarn, and it's just sitting. So the other thing this year is I'm using yarn from my stash. So yarn that I've had, yarn that I bought maybe last year, but it's not new yarn. So I'm not buying yarn now just to buy it. So that's kind of where it is with that. So don't be expecting any yarn acquisitions. And I mean, I'm here in Canada and a lot of my favorite stores are in the United States. And unfortunately, with the ridiculous exchange rate that is right now, what, 45%, and the ridiculous shipping rates that it costs to send to Canada from the United States, it's actually cheaper for us to send to you in the United States, is getting a little unreasonable and unobtainable. That's kind of where I'm gonna put that. I make decent money, but it's unobtainable. So don't be expecting any real big acquisitions. There are 2 big festivals that I do plan on going to. The one is Knit City Toronto, which is in May. And then there's another one, if they have it this year, possibly it's either going to be the Kitchener-Waterloo Festival, or it might be the one that we have up in Barrie this year. So it just depends. It depends. And even then, I'm setting aside some cash, and whatever I can save up, that's what I spent. So that's kind of where it sits with the yarn acquisition stuff. So, okay, let's get into it. I'll get into what I'm wearing after, just because it's the last make that I made in January. But I'll show you my first make that I've made in January. This is probably the most favorite sweater I have ever made. The construction of this sweater fits me like a glove. I have never made a sweater in this construction before. It is a paid for pattern. It is knit. But yeah, it was very unique. I've never made a drop shoulder sweater continuously, I guess is what it's called, without having to sew in the arms. So, or without any sewing. So very interesting. So anyway, the pattern I'm talking about is the Dartmoor sweater by Kadri. I don't know if hopefully you can see it, but this is it here. It's got this beautiful neckline. It's got some nice ribbing at the bottom. It's a very oversized sweater. It's really pretty. It's got some big cuffs. I love the detail on the sleeve. I don't know if you can see that. That is part of, how you start the sweater, which is really unique. I have gotten the most compliments on this sweater, from beautiful, obviously, to that looks store-bought. Wow, you made that? That's store-bought. So really, really, really pretty. It's in Drops Air, which is one of my favorite yarns of all time. I love Drops in general. It's one of my favorite yarns, but this is Drops Air. So it's an alpaca that's like blown into a polyamide tube, I think. But it's so soft. I mean, there are 7 balls of yarn here and this thing weighs, I don't know, 300 grams. Like, it's not heavy at all. And it's the original pattern called for like I think it was La Manna Como Grande, which very expensive, and Lamanna Prima, which is a mohair silk combo. I did price that out, and for the amount of balls I needed, it was going to cost me $320. So I did not go with that yarn. So I went and found a yarn that would meet the gauge with those two together. And the gauge, even though that is an Aran weight yarn, the gauge that they were calling for was 15 stitches to 4 inches, which is actually a chunky weight yarn. That's where the chunky or number 5 yarn starts in the spectrum of going up from 15, 14, 13, 11, you know, and so on, until you get up to the 10 stitches per 4 inches, which is considered super bulky. So I was thinking to myself, I'm like, what can I use? So I went to my Drops Air, and I was able to just go up, you know, half of a needle size, and I got the 15 stitches, because it's typically, I think, a 16 stitch gauge. So worked for me. Very light, very beautiful sweater. Dartmoor sweater by Kadri. I'll try to link her down below. So that was the first one. The second one is, it's probably gonna blow you guys out, but this is the sweater number 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I've had it for a little bit. I know she's not the most size inclusive, but I had the pattern. I wanted to make it, so I made it. Excuse me. So this one is also made in that continuous version. It is another drop shoulder, but this one is extremely oversized. It's also in Drops Air, but it's got this beautiful little pattern on it. This one doesn't have a rolled collar. I cut it off and just did an Italian bind off. So it's a beautiful, beautiful sweater. It's in this amazing magenta color, but there's the sleeve, and that's the shoulder seam. And then this is the sleeve that you pick up. It's quite oversized. When I wear this, it bulks up at the wrist. It's supposed to. That's what it says in the pattern. But yeah, it's really pretty. It's really hard to show. But yeah, I've worn this quite a bit. It's one of my favorite sweaters. Sweater number 18. I finished this. This is my second make in January. It's also in Drops Air. It's in the color Magenta, and this one here, I actually the needle size I think was too large, but I got gauge on it. I still like it. I still wear it. I think it just made it a little bit bigger than what it needed to be. I probably should have went down a size making this if I was going to use that needle size. I just couldn't get the row count right, so I figured if it's just going to be a little bit big, it's just a little bit big. What's the big deal, right? So I wear this. When I wear it, people comment me all the time. Not only is it bright pink, but it really complements my skin tone. And this is the color of pink that I love the most. This is actually the color of pink that was in our wedding. This and a dark teal. So there's that. And the third sweater I made was this one. So, sorry. This one here is also the Dartmoor sweater by Kadri, but it's the V-neck version. So everything in the sweater is pretty much the same except for the neckline. I'm not gonna lie. This side of the neckline doesn't have as many stitches picked up as this side of the neckline, hence why this here kind of comes down. And this is off center. I'm gonna call that a design element, don't care. I actually like the way this looks. I think it's really unique. I think the way it brings your eye up. Anybody who's seen it says they love it. What happened is I picked up not enough here, and then I picked up, you know, too many on this side. And then I tried to like put the stitches back in here by making stitches. It just didn't work, but it still looks good. I love it. I wear it a lot. This one here, I'll stand up. It's a little bit more short. It's not too bad, but that's because of the yarn. This is the yarn I picked up when I was in the United States in 2022 in October, when I went to Rhinebeck. We went to Hobby Lobby my first time there, and to be honest, it was the only yarn they had in a sweater quantity out in their aisle. So that's what I picked. It's the Warm and Cozy and the Spiced Sienna. I think it's polyester and acrylic and spandex, and it's got like 4 different fibers. This thing is so springy. Yeah. So when I knit to the proper row, but because it's so springy, it's actually, I've probably lost about an inch. So I'm gonna try and wash it, but again, you can't really block this yarn. But I mean, the length is good. I mean, I like the length. It comes in at the cuff really nice. And I love the color. So I'm still gonna wear it. I wore it to work last week, or this week, sorry, and nothing but compliments on it. So I do like it. This one I just finished on January 31st. I did not start these all at once. I did one, and then I finished it, and then I started another one, and then I finished it, and then I started another one. I actually don't have anything on the needles right now. It's February 2nd. I've been trying to figure out what I want to make, if I want to crochet or if I want to knit another sweater. The thing is my stash, because I didn't crochet when I got most of my stash. So it does take more yarn to crochet. I've proven that time and time again with what I've done on my own little experiments between just a knit stitch and a single crochet stitch, the amount of yarn, the difference. So it does take more yarn. And with that, you need more yardage. So a lot of my knitting yarn that I've purchased over the years, I've purchased enough for a sweater quantity in a knit garment. So if it's 1,200 yards to knit a garment, it's probably closer to 1,400 to crochet or more to crochet a garment, depending on the stitch. So with that being said, I actually don't have a lot of sweater quantity for crochet. Maybe for like a short sleeve shirt for sure. But knitting wise, no, a lot of those are gonna have to be used for that. So I think crochet might be a little bit slim this year. I do have some summer material that I can probably make into some summer tops, because I do like crochet summer tops. I will admit that. So there's a couple I think I might make there, but that's not gonna be for a couple months. So I am trying to figure out what I want to make next. I do have one yarn that I've pulled out that's been in my stash that I want to use. It is a fuzzy yarn. It's a 3-weight. It's this Rossetti yarns. It's a fluffy weight. There's 246 yards to this. It is a 3-weight. The stitches per 4 inches is 20 stitches. So I probably could make this work into a double knit 22 stitch garment, which is most of the patterns out there. They're calling for a 3.75, so, you know, we'll go with that. So I gotta do a swatch up to see what I can get on a 4mm or a size US 6, what I can get for this. I have 5 balls of this, so I have about 1,300 yards. It's 44% acrylic, 26% polyamide, 15% fine merino superwash wool, and 15% alpaca. So it is really fuzzy. So I was kind of thinking maybe like a very simple knit stitch sweater. Possibly I might do a no frills again, just because I know the pattern and I don't want to make a mistake and I don't want to rip this out because this stuff probably is not going to rip out very nicely. It's not like the Drops Air, which it does have some fluff, so it's not too bad. You just have to take your time. But with this stuff being mostly acrylic, I can already feel it. It's got more toothiness to it. So that's what's gonna make it stick. So yeah, we'll see. But this is the next yarn that I want to make something with. I'm just trying to figure out what. I will probably go to my go-to Garn Studio patterns. I have been knitting them for years, so you know, I do kind of understand the construction. Yes, I know a lot of people don't like Garn Studio patterns, but I do, and they have some really nice new ones that are hopefully coming out that I like. And I'm certain I can find a gauge for something for this. So that's kind of what I'm doing. This month probably won't get as much knitting done from me just because I don't know. I don't even have like startitis where I want to like start this, but yeah, maybe it'll be on the needles today. Maybe it won't. We'll see. Maybe I'll only get one thing done this month. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. That really is all I have today. I actually have to get going and start work because it is 8:25 in the morning and I start at 8:30. So thank you again. Oh, and I also changed my channel name. It's now called Heather Did It Knit and Crochet, just because I wanted to. It is what it is. Thanks everyone. Have a great day. We'll talk soon. Bye.